All right, folks, this is hilarious. Donald Trump was just confronted by reporters about a recent lie he told and a viral humiliation he suffered at the hands of Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom. Now, this exchange with reporters not only visibly triggered Trump, but also made him visibly panicked because during his answer to the reporters, he accidentally admitted that he did lie to the American people and screwed up spectacularly. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, I want to play this clip. This is after Donald Trump gave his truly deranged speech at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. We're going to play the clip of Trump getting visibly triggered and panicking, and then we'll go back to show you the original clip that triggered this entire event.
Governor Newsom said he did not speak to you a day ago, as you said, in the Oval Office earlier. What's your response?
Well, I gave him, it wasn't a day ago, it was a little longer than that, and I presented the phone conversation to Fox News, John Roberts and Molly Line at Fox News, because they were the ones that said it. And we actually spent 16-point-something minutes on the phone. And I told him he's got to get his act together because you're going to have some bad times in Los Angeles if he doesn't. We had a pleasant conversation. The proof was from the phone company. It was from the phone company. So I spoke to him at a certain time. I'm sure you all saw it. You saw it. But why would you ask me that question if you saw it? You know, I mean, he asked me a question, and then he says, yeah, I saw that you spoke to him. Yeah, I spoke to him for over 16 minutes. I spoke to him for over 16 minutes, and I told him to get his act together, but he hasn't been able to do that. I mean, the man, really, we could have a great, you know, we have an Olympics coming up. We have to. So there's a lot there. I don't know if you caught it. We're going to play one part in just a second, but note how Trump keeps filibustering as the reporter asks the question, Trump slips and basically admits that he screwed up spectacularly. He lied to the American people and that Governor Newsom was right. We'll talk about that in a second. Then he gets triggered. Why would you even ask me the question? How dare you? And then when the reporter tries to explain, Trump just like shakes his head in rage and keeps talking. He's cutting the reporter off, preventing the reporter from explaining that Trump did screw up, and that's why he's asking the question of Trump, okay? So let's just do one quick thing. Note this. Listen very carefully.
Speak to you a day ago, as you said, in the Oval Office earlier. What's your response?
Well, I gave him, it wasn't a day ago, it was a little longer than that.
Right there. So he said, Governor Newsom says he did not speak to you a day ago, as you said. And Trump said, well, it was a little more than a day ago. But that's not what Trump originally said to the American people in that heated exchange in the Oval Office, which preceded this whole thing.
President, when is the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
A day ago. Called him up to tell him.
A day ago, okay? Now, when Trump said those words, that was yesterday, June 10th. A day ago would have been June 9th, not accounting for the time zone difference between California and Washington, D.C., okay? So on June 10th, he says he talked to Governor Newsom a day ago, and that was June 9th. But as we learned, the receipts that he provided talked about a phone call on June 7th. June 7th, which is famously not June 9th. He totally got it wrong. And he was triggered because I think he realized, oh, shit, I lied. And I tried to dunk on Newsom, and Newsom ended up dunking on me. Shit. And you just see the rage and panic on his face and in his voice as he tries to filibust his way through it. So there is that component. But I also want to talk about some other things that Trump said during this exchange with the reporters, and then also revisit the consequences of that deranged speech he gave yesterday at Fort Bragg.
So we have this guy allowing this to happen. Let me tell you, when you watch these agitators break up concrete and hand it out to people as they stood on line to get it, these have to be paid troublemakers.
Mr. President, you appear to say that the governor and the mayor paid them. Do you believe that the governor and the mayor paid the agitators?
No, I don't say the governor and the mayor. I said somebody's paying them, I think. And if they're not, they're just troublemakers. What can I tell you? But I believe somebody's paying them. I mean, I've never seen somebody with a big hammer so professional. Now, they took the bricks away from them. So they say, how do we get in? The military did. How do we get in and what do we do? They said, I have an idea. Let's break up the concrete, and that's even better than bricks. And that's what happened.
So in his incoherent rambling, Trump is like, I believe these agitators are paid. I'm not saying they're paid by Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass. I'm just saying they're paid. I think they're paid. But he has no evidence to support this notion that these are paid agitators and demonstrators, and yet he is repeatedly declaring this to be the case in public, that it's a matter of fact. And this is one of the issues that Donald Trump has, which makes him a unique threat to democracy, because he is uniquely prone to conspiracism and these half-assed accusations. He does this all the time. This is a problem. Now, if there's evidence that the agitators or that the rioters are paid agitators by a party or an organization or a politician, then present the evidence and prosecute them accordingly if there's some sort of illegal funding of riots. But you don't have evidence of that. A wise leader would therefore temper the expectation, right? Would therefore temper his words instead of coming off half-cocked. Not Donald Trump. Here's another clip.
What rules of engagement do you want for the military? What limitations?
A very simple rule of engagement. If they're dangerous, if they're throwing concrete or bricks, if they're spitting in the face of the police or whoever's in front of them, if they're punching people, if they're doing all of the things that you see done for the last 3 nights, that I would say is engagement. We need to keep our city straight. I want to save Los Angeles. And Newsom is totally incompetent. He's not going to do it. Look at the fires he had. He had fires where half the city, it seemed, burned down. What was it, 25,000 houses? All because he wouldn't take water. I released the water from the Pacific Northwest, and it came down millions of gallons a day. And it's right there right now. They'd like to send it back. There's something wrong with these people. All I want in terms of engagement, I just want to see peace. If there's peace, we get out. If there's even a chance of no peace, we stay there until there's peace. And a lot of people are being arrested. The rioters, or whatever you want to call them, they better know a lot of people are being arrested. They're going to be in jail for a long time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but it's state and local authorities doing the arrests, and Governor Newsom has repeatedly called for their arrest, promised their arrest, and that they'd be prosecuted, as he and Mayor Bass have vociferously condemned the violence. Trump is also lying about, they didn't accept the water. I gave them the water. Donald Trump stupidly demanded the activation of reservoirs that released water that went in the opposite direction of where they were needed. It wasted collected rainwater at a time when California is prone to suffer long periods of drought. It was stupid. It made absolutely no difference whatsoever. And this idea that, half of Los Angeles is burned down as a consequence of these riots, something else that Trump is repeatedly claiming, is just absurd. While he was playing this clip, there's another clip I was going to show you, but we're actually going to do it in a separate video because otherwise this would be a 30-minute video, and it demands its own attention. What Donald Trump said as a consequence of his deranged speech at Fort Bragg. But the one thing I just really want to emphasize here, keep going back to what Trump said at the beginning, the thing that made him so triggered, that a reporter would, ask him about this fact check he received at Governor Newsom that he's denying, is, again, just a reminder. Trump claims he called Newsom on June 9th. Newsom denies this. Trump calls Newsom a liar and sends a screenshot to Fox, who proudly displays it. But it shows there was a phone call on the 7th, June 7th. This is where we are. Donald Trump just got it totally fucking wrong. And Fox News has played an active role in this. We're going to do another video about that as well, because that demands its own attention. So he's either senile, confused, stupid, but then during this exchange realizes, oh, it's more than a day ago. But that's the whole point. You said it was a day ago. You got the dates wrong. It's on you. Newsom was right. You were wrong. And Trump can't handle it. He just can't handle it. And that is a dangerous trait to have in such a powerful person. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.